After staying awake for a whole year, worrying about what was going on, hoping someday they'd make a road into the dealership, I finally gave up and I caught a ride back to Detroit. Somebody gave me a ride, didn't own a car of any kind after going to town in a brand new Thunderbird. And so the things kind of went bad. And so I just didn't know what to do at that point. So what I did, then they ended up putting me in Jackson State Prison. And I put here, to whom it may concern. In my case, Ford Motor Credit Company against Frederick Glassford, Camp Waterloo, Grass Lake, Michigan. I arrived here on January the 4th, 72. I was sentenced to serve by Circuit Judge Anderson in the county of Paw Paw of Michigan, 10/12 of 71. I was charged with concealing a mortgage property. I did conceal 30 cars, new Fords, in a building in Allegan County, Michigan. He was able to force 71. My reason of concealing the cars was to try to make Ford Motor Company, credit company, pay several $1,000s in bills that I owed to many of the different small companies for a variety of items, plus $10,000 of $18,000 that I owed to my relatives. Also, I had about $10,000 in cash. That was from my people that placed the money as deposits for the purchase of motorcycles and other items there. And then these things were to be delivered in the spring, so we had their money. They didn't want them until spring, but they had them on deposit. That Ford Motor Company could and should pay the bills, return the deposits, and pay the money due to my relatives. The reason that being that Ford Motor Company had a lien on all of the assets, books, plus a continued guarantee note signed by the wife and myself for the amount of $26,600 to be paid on demand to Ford Motor Credit, Dearborn, Michigan. When I made this request to the attorneys at Ford Motor Credit, through my attorney G. Glenn Sperry of South Haven, Michigan, Ford Motor Credit in Dearborn, Michigan refused to do as I had requested. They demanded that the cars be returned, or they would sign a warrant, which they did, stating that they were going to make an example of me because there was too much of that sort of thing going on around the country. Judge Anderson repeated the same words that Attorney Boros, FMMC attorney in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and said in reference to the example. Then the advice of the attorney under duress pleaded nolo contendere, no contest. He claimed that he had made a deal with the prosecutor, Mr. Buell, that I was to be plead as I did, that I would receive a sentence of 6 months probation, and after a few months he would have the sentence wiped away from my record. And if I'd done this, I would not be charged with a variety of charges, such as embezzling, conspiracy, and so on. After several months, I started to feel that maybe Glenn Sperry was getting to slip where I was concerned. He started to try to impress me by telling me that a good job he was doing, by keeping me out of jail. Then he made numerous requests for me to sign releases, both for the benefit of MCC and a Citizens Trust Bank, South Haven. The request all of the benefits to me or my cause. Now, from that I feel a good source. I found that Sperry of 9 years has been helping the 3 different enterprises to obtain benefits for them at my cost. that I was aware of all the Ford Motor Credit Company, Citizens Trust, Bank, South Haven, Michigan, Olson Brothers Company, South Haven, Ford Motor Company, Lansing Sales Office. My attorney, Mr. Sperry, made a request to me to sign off the franchise Ford sales agreement so that the Olson brothers could lease the building to a potential Ford prospect that Ford Motor Credit Company, Lansing District had in mind to place in the point of South Haven. The CT&S Bank in South Haven financing about 11 cars and trucks that were leased out to South Haven businesses. A individual, Mr. Sperry, told me that if I would sign a release so that the CT&S Bank could sell the cars, there would be about $5,000 left that I could use to pay the debt to the relatives. That was also a lie from him. He knew it all the time, but he was very weak.